Welcome everybody to the Sagacious Podcast. This is the podcast where I answer your dearest questions or extend the major topics that you send me via any sort of social media or just on YouTube too. I have received, I think, 3 questions or topics to talk about, so I'm really happy about that, about you really joining in and actually caring about me talking and just having a talk about kind of actuality, but just things that interest you. I am your host, Lloyd, Noah, or Biggtout. You can call me any of those names, and let's get started with the first one. What do I think of necrophilia? Well, I've read necrophilia some days back that it actually means sexual intercourse or attraction to a dead body. Firstly, I was like, yo, how? Okay, I can understand that you can find maybe your girlfriend died, technically your ex, and she's dead in your bed, but you still are attracted to her. Normally, if you have a girlfriend, you're attracted to her in any sort of way. I don't know how you do it, but and you're like, before I cry or before I do anything, I still want to, I don't know, make love to her. Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't see necrophilia as something bad, but I wouldn't see it as something good either. On the positive side actually is you have fun with yourself. The negative side is regret, sadness, maybe even depression. Um, Probably sickness, because I don't think dead bodies are something healthy to touch, because their organs literally died. So I don't think that's really good to have sexual intercourse or any sort of attraction to it. The other bad side is you cannot get anything out of it. It's a dead body, so I don't think you can really do anything with it except just set up a funeral and end it there. Because necrophilia is something actually really scary, because you can use necrophilia as a punishment. You can use necrophilia as something if you really have nothing to do in your life and you really want to ruin it. That's the way that you can go, but I wouldn't advise you to do such things, because firstly I would look at you actually really weirdly, because why would you really do something like that, like actually just have sexual intercourse with a dead body? Having sexual intercourse with anybody, I don't care. You do your thing. You can love who you want to love. But if the person is not there mentally, or just the soul is not there, I don't think you will want to have anything to do with that. But since necrophilia exists, some people possibly, assumably, are attracted to them. And my biggest question is it because you love the person? Is it because you just like the looks? Because I'm sure that even one TikTok thought that you really liked, that you follow on TikTok, if she died and you go to a funeral and everybody's gone, I'm sure you will want to do something with her. You're not. No, don't lie to me. I know. Okay, I'm going to be a little bit inappropriate. I don't know if that's fitting for a podcast. But if you see a oh my days, if you see a deceased big booty chick in like a strip club or something, and nobody's there in the room, you know what I'm saying? I think you would literally still do anything. I wouldn't, to be honest. I would never touch a dead body, because first of all, I've heard that the smell is absolutely horrible of a dead body. I haven't smelled it yet. I don't want to smell it. I've been to funerals before, but I don't think it's something I don't think it's something smart to do. Already going to a dead body is already a red flag. Like, if anybody that you know already approaches a dead body, that's already a red flag. You shouldn't even approach that person, not even trust them. You know what it's like? It's like breaking up and still asking for a relationship after that. Once you break up, for me, it's done. It's actually done. It's actually done. Like, of course, I've already had a relationship that broke up and we got back together. I know, but normally after a relationship that you ended, it's normally actually dead. Because you tried your best and then it's just over. Because I already got back with my ex once and it worked out for like a week. And after that, it just faded. It just gave up. And I'm like, this is actually, see, this makes me actually think of the same thing, because I'm like, yo, why am I doing this? First, I was really happy. I was in ecstasy and all of that. And that's also an example of necrophilia. First, you're in ecstasy. You're having sexual intercourse with somebody with no feelings, no life, destroyed organs, or like not working organs, so they can't actually do anything, but you still can do something to it. You're all happy and stuff, and after that you're like, this is boring, because they don't talk, they don't move, they only rot. So basically you're just going to do the thing with a rotten, now technically, object. So I don't think necrophilia is something. I mean, I've discussed the positive side about it, but I don't think you should really actually do that. And the example of relationships that I've used does actually filled with necrophilia, because after a relationship, it's dead. Normally, you don't get back with your ex unless you make a mistake, or unless it's really needed. But if you really love your significant other and they are deceased or they are dead or something, but you still love them, you can honor them, you can give them flowers, you can grant them a funeral, you can do any sort of religious religious blessing to it, but don't do no sexual intercourse. I don't think that actually fits, because I think your family would also look at you weirdly. Like, that would be actually really weird to do that. I know I've said that a lot of times, necrophilia is something really weird. I've never actually heard of it before I searched it up, because Ryan, the one that sent the question, sent me that I think last week. And first of all, I saw the word philia. I thought a file, like a pedophile or something that has something to do with sexual intercourse. But I was like, what does it mean? I searched it up. Then I saw the definition. The definition of it is like sexual intercourse or attraction towards a dead body. I think I've already said that once, like a couple minutes ago. I'm like, how do some things even get to exist? Because I was thinking this must be unreal. Maybe it's the Urban Dictionary or something, but it's actually a real thing. And I don't know if there are any stories about this or people doing stuff, because I haven't done any research about. I mean, I've done some research about necrophilia, but I haven't really gone into it because it was really scaring for me. People that do necrophilia are called necrophiles, I think. And yeah, I mean, it isn't anything good, but I think there's a bigger bad side to it. And I don't think you should really do any sexual activities with somebody that is physically there, but in the body is not going great. And if you still stick your in the body, it isn't really. And in the reverse way, I don't think you want a dead man's how do I call it, sexual part in you, because that thing don't work. It doesn't work. You won't get anything out of it. So I don't think that's a really smart decision to make unless you really love them or actually are really bored. So I would consider that as a bad thing. And I think I'm going to close on the topic now. I would like to thank Ryan for sending in the topic.
Thank you.
And I'm always ready for another topic. Now we're going to move on to the next topic. The Sagacious Podcast. So, the second topic has been recommended by Shadow. Shadow has asked me, how did I get my name? This is actually going to take a really short time, because how I got my name is not really a long story. I was playing Among Us, and like in Among Us you can choose your username and stuff, but I wanted an original username. But since at that time my name was, I think, BN or Boom Noah or something like that, I couldn't think of an actual original name, because the name BN already existed, like BN Productions or something. I was like, I have to make an original name because I want to be recognized by everybody. So I was searching, I was really improvising any names, and I couldn't get on something. So I looked around, and people always say that I'm tall, that I'm big. I honestly find myself a little bit tiny, because I am only 6 foot. So I think I'm actually really tiny. Furthermore, I thought of big, and I wanted to make it even more unique, and I thought of Snoop Dogg or Biggie Smalls or the Notorious B.I.G., one of the two, alias. But so I added 2 G's to it. But I was like, big, that's too short, and I know other people have the name Big. So I thought of what am I good in? But the thing is, I'm practically good at everything. I can do almost all ball sports except basketball. I cannot do any basketball. But I am technically an all-rounder. So I thought I can practically do everything. So I thought of Big Everything, but that was a bit lame. So I thought of Big Ev, but Big Ev also sounded even worse. So I wanted to make it in another language. So I thought of French, because I speak French almost every day. And I got on 2, because 2 means everything in French. And then I merged them together, and I got Biggtout. First I was a bit hesitant on the name. I was like, that sounds actually ridiculous. And then I started using the name. I got comfortable with it, and I gave the name to my YouTube channel. And now that's actually my definitive name for the YouTube channel. I won't change it anyway. So that's how I actually got on my name. There's not really a big backstory to it. Nobody has ever had it, I think. And the backstory is not that big, so I don't really have anything to say about that. How did I get on the pronunciation of the name? French and English, like I've told you, because other people have been calling me Biggtout, Biggtout. Now I accept Biggtout, because Biggtout is actually how you read it too. So I allow that. But people calling me Biggtout, when you see the T between the G and the O, was actually a bit disrespectful to me, because I actually made a video, I think 1 year ago, literally exposing people saying Big Out. And I literally put it on a replay, and then I searched on Google Translate the translation and the pronunciation, and she pronounced it perfectly. Then I put that in the video, edited with some goofy sound effects, and got the video online. It got like 40 views or something, so maybe less, I don't know. So I'm actually pretty happy with that. that I could have sorted out, and now people are calling my name correctly. So that's also something that is really crucial and important to me, and now I'm actually known as Biggtout. Even in my family, everybody knows that I'm a YouTuber called Biggtout. So that's actually quite a lot of fun. Um. Okay, so Shadow, thank you for sending in your questions.
Thank
Sorry
you.
that I'm not really extending on the topic because I don't really have a long backstory about my name. Um, should I move on the next topic? I think so. The Sagacious Podcast. So the third and last question of this podcast comes from Maeva, and she has asked me. This is a really, really hot topic. Is it normal, or do I agree or disagree that trans women play with real women? I think she means in any sport or any discipline, like in the Olympic Games or something. I I disagree. I disagree because it doesn't mean that you're trans, that you're either a man and a full man or a full woman. If you are born as a woman, I think you should play as with a woman because you're born as a woman. You have the muscles of a woman. You have the body of a woman, and you have the capacities of a woman. So I think you should just play with a woman because it doesn't mean that you're trans and you identify as a man that you can play with men, because men, I'm not going to lie, the fat percentage is different, the competence is different, the body is different. Y'all don't have testosterone. You have other hormones which don't work the same, unless if you're trans you get injected with testosterone and you get a schlong attached to your body and you get rid of the V. You still got a woman's body, I think, because if you have testosterone you won't have boobs anymore. That's true, but I think you should stick with a woman because I don't think because you're trans that you can play with a man. Do I have any more basis on that? I don't think so, because I know trans. I mean, being a trans man, you cannot play with the woman. I know you. They will remove your slong. They will put some woman hormones in you and all of that. But you still have the body of a man. If I reverse the topic, and I don't think you should play with the women either, because I'm not saying that you don't physically have the facilities to be like a man, because some women are actually good at some sports. I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying that you're physically less stronger than us, but I don't think as a trans woman that you should play with men, because you still have the woman. You still have the body of a woman. You still are biologically a woman. So I don't think you actually can play with men, because it doesn't go the way that you want it. And yo, I'm on pause right now because those questions are actually hot. I just If I would agree, I would only agree on the fact that if you're trans, you're both. But that doesn't mean you necessarily can play with men. That's the only thing I agree on. For the rest, I totally disagree on the fact that you would maybe think, I don't know, Maeva, what you think about it, but I really think that you should just keep it at the women, because you're born as a woman and you just play with women. That's it. And people that are trans, I don't know how they do on ID checks. I don't know how they do on what's it called, account making. I don't know how you identify yourself as a man or a woman or both or specified, or I don't know. But I'm not going to go into the really deep perspective of that because there are some people that are going to be against me. There's some people that are going to be with me. There's some people that are going to have a serious critic on me. But I don't want to be criticized, but I normally have to because this is what I talk about. This is my podcast. This is how it goes. But I don't really think that trans women can play with men, and from the reverse side, that trans men can play with women. Because they are not compatible with each other, because men are totally different than women. Mentally and physically. Like, if you put the hormones of a woman into a man, they will have wider thighs, a little bit more fat. That's just speaking. Hey, I don't know. That's what I've heard. That's what I've learned. And they will develop the breast making too, and they will also remove your schlong and get a split where your schlong was. But that's a big change, and I don't think in a man's body that you can play with women, because I think it's quite unfair that you can just be like, yo, I want to be a woman because I want to play with a woman. First of all, that's really unfair, because you could be winning awards that you can't as a man. Because you can be winning the men's and women's World Cup. Imagine somebody achieving that. Winning the men's and the women's World Cup. That would be really unfair to me. Because I'm like, you actually just cheated. I think trans is quite cheating. To be honest. Hey, that's just my opinion. You can think anything else. I honestly don't care. Because I stick with my opinion. You can drop your opinion if you want to. But I think that it's better that you just stay how you biologically are. You can be trans, no problem. You can be trans. But don't bring the switch up into it, like the switch up of sports, of the switch up of positioning. You can, because I had a friend, he was a normal boy. And now he just changed his name. He changed his looks. He changed his I don't know, but I think he changed his body parts. But he's still I think he was playing hockey. He's still playing with the men, I think. Unless they allow him to play with the women. But he's still in a man's body. So that's also something I don't quite understand. Why you would actually allow somebody that is not of your sex biologically to play with you. I don't think doctors would agree on that. Because I don't know. I'm not really somebody that knows everything of the body, everything with what's it called, anatomy and stuff. I'm not that guy. So don't ask me fully about what I know about, because I practically actually know nothing about all that biology and stuff. But literally, that my friend, I haven't seen him in a while. But I didn't really initiate contact with him, because when he was changing to a girl, I was getting scared. Because he was already getting bullied. Because he wanted to be a girl. Because he was already wearing panties. Wearing, dresses. And I looked at him like, I called him with his boy's name. But he didn't react. And then, another friend of him told him, that's not his name. So I was like, But I have always called him that. He's always reacted to it. He even told me his name himself. Then he told me, nah, he's changing. He's a girl now and all of that. But he still had that male treatment and all of that. So I was a bit confused on the fact of being trans is actually weird. I mean, it's normal to the person changing. That's actually just a routine, not a routine, but just something normal for them. But for me, seeing somebody trans, I'm like, I see a woman with a schlong. I'm like, yo, you don't know what you could be running into. Like, some men look like women, some women look like men because of all their hands, or even their body, or their gestures, or even their face, their hair, all of that. And sometimes because I had a friend at school and he has really long hair, and boys normally they have short hair or medium long hair. But seeing the boy with long hair sometimes makes you think it's a girl. So I was also at camp and it happened the same thing. There was a boy with really wavy hair and really long hair too, and I thought it was a girl because you're sleeping separately at a camp, and I was like, what's this girl doing here? At last I heard his voice. It was a boy. I was like, oh snap, I made a mistake. But he wasn't necessarily trans or something. So sometimes you can look like a woman or a man, but not necessarily do anything outrageous for it. You know what I'm saying? You can be a woman and you can do the effort to look like a man, but you don't have to change either your body parts, either your sport, either your discipline, changing your job is something normal, but you don't have to make it all dramatic to just play. Like, I know women and men don't get the same attention because in sports men get the most attention, and I think other than that all the women get all the attention. Now, I think your question is, would you go deeper into that? I won't go, because if I do go deeper into that, I'll probably be wrong. I'll probably be criticized. I won't have any valuable reasoning, and even I think I've already violated some all rules, or even offended some people by talking about that, and that's not really my goal. I'm not here to offend people. I'm here to just talk about my opinion. If you don't agree, you all tell me, or I don't give a damn. I don't give a crap. I'm telling you, my opinion can all be garbage or be a gem. It's either one of those two. If it's not a gem, it's garbage. It's really garbaggio, and I don't really care. Because I'm here to have fun. I'm here to just do what I like to do. For example, recording podcasts. Because I personally don't listen to podcasts, and the only podcast that I've listened to is my own. Because I saved some podcasts on Spotify, but I've actually never listened to it. Because first of all, it takes time. Third of all, it sounds like, because some podcasts are fun, some sound like two people on Discord just having fun, just doing some random stuff and really having fun. But that's the good thing. Podcast makes you also work on your concentration. And see, I'm already getting off topic. Back to the trans woman thing. I think I've disagreed, and I don't think it's actually really smart to go from men to women, because men are different on women. I'm telling you, mentally, men are a big impact mentally on women, because women have the tension to test men, and if you have the mentality of a man, because when you're trans, your brain is still going to work as a man. I'm sure that if you're a trans woman, your brain is still going to work as a woman, because you'll have to get used to the habits of what a man does. And if you don't have that mindset, you're still going to think as a woman, do things as a woman, unless you really, really are into that trans stuff. So I think you really still have the brain of a woman, and it will still affect you as a woman because you're biologically a woman. I use the word biologically really, really much because I think that's the perfect word to use on that. But I think you should just stick with the group that you're in. You can either ask, that's your choice, but globally, I would say that it's a bad idea, and that I disagree. I don't think I have any more to say. Me myself, I have a match tomorrow, and I had a match yesterday, which I've lost 2-0. So I wish myself good luck. Maeva, Ryan, Shadow, thank you for sending in your topics. Thank you for really considering to actually care about me and actually give me the chance to really open up to my community about what I really like and what I really don't like. Thank you for the opportunity. And we're going to move on to the last topic of this podcast. So, the Sagacious Podcast. So, this one has been sent in by Lander. Talk about people that were special for your life. Well, this is a very big question. Because there are a lot of people that have meant a lot to my life. And I am scared. I have a fear of forgetting people, because I know so much people that have actually meant a lot to my life that I'm just going to forget to mention some names that I normally wouldn't forget. But sometimes you have so much in your head that you cannot get it out, because there's so much people that have stepped out and been in my life, and I'm currently socially, I don't really have a lot of connections anymore because I've lost some friends, and I don't really get often texted unless I begin. But people that really meant a lot in my life, I'm going to firstly mention my family, because my family, obviously, they've always been there for me. And I wouldn't be here with no YouTube channel, with no equipment, with no lamp, with no lighting, with no microphone, with no camera here, with no posters, with no great room here. So I really thank my parents too for that. I've had a lot of friends that really helped me out with either school, either feeling better socially, mentally, feeling better physically about myself, because I find myself actually really skinny, not muscled, not capable of being a little bit bulked up. But they have made me more confident of myself and just happy with myself, because now I'm happier, and I technically would thank my exes, but that would be quite of a red flag to me, also a green one, because they have learned me how life is, how life can be fair and unfair, and how happiness and hard times can be also some lessons. Because I've had some relationships this year. Some of them have gone great sometimes. Some of them have gone really bad sometimes. And I've talked about it in the beginning of the podcast with Necrophilia, so you know what I'm talking about. But they have helped me majorly, mentally, how it is to actually do your life. And for the rest, I'm not going to mention any names, because if I mention names, I'm sure I'm going to forget a lot of them. So I'm sorry if I don't mention, because I'm scared to mention names, because sometimes when I say thank you to people, or when something happens and they're like, "Oh, not me," or did you really forget me and I didn't do something? I don't want to get that. So I'm not going to mention any names. I've been recording for 35 minutes now. That's actually long. I'm really happy with that duration. So I think I'm going to end the podcast here. Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for sending in your topics and your questions, and I'm always awaiting for more. I think for a week I'm not going to ask any questions or either record a podcast unless you really want to, and if you really enjoy it. This was the Sagacious Podcast. Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for sending in. I've already said that twice. I've already repeated that, but I don't care. This was Lloyd, Noah, Biggtout. You can call me by any of those names. My socials are in my YouTube bio. So big bye. The Sagacious Podcast.